Please don't send this man money. Andy Signor of Popcorn Planet is making a gazillion dollars just from you watching his videos. And now he's once again made another GoFundMe account for you to send him money because he claims he's going to fight Blake Lively in court over him not being a journalist.
A federal judge just ruled that YouTube reporters are not real journalists.
Does that surprise anyone? We all knew this. We knew Andy Signor is not a journalist. I am not a journalist. Perez Hilton is not a journalist.
Perez Hilton. I'll never like Perez Hilton based on what he did to Britney and so many others. I don't trust him. Never been a fan.
Well, at least we're on the same side of that. But wait.
I'm so grateful to have Perez Hilton back on the show. Welcome to the show, Perez. It takes time.
Yeah.
As someone who's been through it myself, you have as well, right? We've all been through some low points in our careers, and then you just got to keep fighting back. Amazing. I'm so happy for you, and hopefully, and thanks for all the work you did, because I do think it's going to help us, mine particularly. Go support Perez. Kudos, fist bump. Keep up the good work.
He's doing what a lot of social media influencers do. He is using this for clicks and views and making a ton of money in the process.
You can sign up to become a member. That would help us now more than ever. You can also click over here to get to our new Give, Send, Go, because yes, this is going to be expensive.
Here's the scoop. Andy Signor covers celebrity drama, just like a lot of influencers do. On his channel, he was covering the Blake Lively, Justin Baldoni case, but he was very anti-Blake and pro-Baldoni. We now know, thanks to the interrogatories that Blake issued, that Melissa Nathan, Justin Baldoni's crisis manager, named Andy Signor as someone who was seeding, creating, posting, sharing content on behalf of or at the request of Wayfair.
Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds think they're going to subpoena me. Ha!
Blake Lively sent him a subpoena for all of his communications that he was having with Team Wayfair, and he didn't want to hand it over. So he decided to file a motion to quash her subpoena in Florida. Well, a judge has come back and ruled that no, he's not able to quash the subpoena, and he now has until December 17th to hand over all of his documentation to Blake Lively and her lawyers.
That's right. Blake Lively won the subpoena battle against me.
He made a ton of videos around this subpoena. He would get together with other creators who were getting subpoenaed, other anti-Blake creators, and they would all talk about the fact that they were all subpoenaed and that he was going to fight this. However, the number one thing he was doing was begging all of you to send him money. He was claiming it was going to be for legal fees and for this documentary that he's making, and he started a $25,000 GoFundMe type account, and he started getting a lot of money.
I guess I've grown a thicker skin to all this. It's weird. Like, yeah, it's a little stressful. It's annoying. It costs some money, but thank God we have a crowd that steps up. My goodness, they have stepped up, Nate. Look at this.
Yes.
Our war chest is growing again.
Once that money started rolling in, he was actually bragging about it. And while he was bragging about it, he actually went on vacation, having a drink in his hand, doing a live, and saying he's able to go on vacation thanks to Blake Lively making him all this money from his videos. Andy also loved making videos showing you just how much money he was collecting from all of his followers in this GoFundMe. And this doesn't include all the money he was getting from his membership and his merch and this documentary he was doing.
They thought they were going to drain us, but they're not because of you. Because of all you, they're not going to drain us. They're draining you, but you're happy to help.
He actually thought it was funny that he was wasting all of your money fighting this subpoena. Now, please remember, this subpoena was just for his communications that he was having with Justin Baldoni's team. Blake Lively had been trying to get these documentations and emails, text messages, etc. from Justin Baldoni and his team, but it has now come out that they have deleted most of those emails and texts, and she's not going to be able to get them. So he's the only person who still had a copy. And now he's done it again. He uploaded a video last night acknowledging that Blake Lively won her subpoena and he's going to have to hand over everything. But he's saying he's going to appeal it, and he's now made another GoFundMe account and is asking all of you to cover his expenses again.
I need your help. I know I don't like to ask for this stuff. I asked for it before. I need it now more than ever. This is going to be costly. This is going to take more time, more stress for the documentary, for everything else. If you were ever able to throw a couple bucks in the jar, now's the time to do it.
You can check out my previous video if you want all the details on exactly what the judge said in the filing. But basically, the judge said this: Popcorn Planet fails to show that the journalist's privilege applies and otherwise waives its claim of privilege. And it's not just for one reason. The judge basically tore a strip off of Andy Signor for multiple reasons. One was this. The judge pointed out in the footnotes saying Signor's declaration claims that Popcorn Planet is a 501 corporation, but his publicly available records with the Florida Department of State say otherwise. Popcorn Planet is little more than a YouTube channel. One of the things he was trying to do was claim that he was a journalist so that he would fall under the journalistic privilege of not having to reveal his sources and hand over any of these emails and text messages that he was having with Wayfair or their team. One of the things he was doing was claiming the whole time that he had nothing to do with them, that he was not in cahoots, that he was not messaging anyone from Team Wayfair.
Wasn't in cahoots with anybody at Wayfair ever. That is absolute horseshit that any of us were. I never knew who this guy was, Justin Baldwin. That's what's so ironic about all this. I only reacted because of Blake's own words and actions.
We know that's not true because he was named in Melissa Nathan's documentation as having been in contact with her, as well as this. The judge basically threw him under the bus and said exactly what was in his documents he was claiming were privileged. The judge claims that in item 4 on this privilege log is a 6-month-long, 89-page text message conversation between Signor and a defendant in the underlying lawsuit for Blake Lively.
It's like unbelievable. This is procedural unfairness. It shows one-sided reasoning. And she just rejected my affidavit. She clearly was out to get me.
He is so mad that that got revealed. Like he said, it makes him look bad. It undermines his character, makes him look like a liar. And now everyone knows he absolutely was in contact with Wayfair. For 6 months and almost 90 pages, they were sending him information about this case to post on their behalf. So the judge ruled Andy Signor is no journalist. And so in his video, he pulls up the Florida definition of what a journalist is and tries to say why he fits in this. He wants your money to allegedly take this to the appeals court now, but the judge specifically stated that even if Popcorn Planet could muster a definition broad enough to cover its YouTube channel as being journalistic, it still doesn't fit. The judge specifically stated that being a journalist means that you have standards and editorial control, and stated that nothing submitted by Popcorn Planet suggests the practices of editorial standards normally associated with a professional news organization. The judge went on to say, even though Andy Signor investigates entertainment news and creates content, he tried to claim that he's employed by and receives a salary from Popcorn Planet. But the judge pointed out, Andy Signor is Popcorn Planet's owner, founder, and CEO, the host, director, editor, and main producer, and the address to this is his home address. Then the judge pointed out that he didn't even meet his deadlines. He actually missed the deadline for his motion to quash, and he filed it 2 days late. He didn't produce a privilege log until he was ordered to do so 3 months later, and then his lawyers had the nerve to tell the judge that what he was asking for was nonsense and absurd, and the judge responded by saying that Andy Signor's attorneys were incorrect on the law and that he failed to show that the subpoena communications were privileged. And the judge said even if Popcorn Planet could establish that anything was privileged, that Lively could overcome it. And he listed all the reasons why. He said all of this went right to the heart of her lawsuit. She was looking for communications for retaliation, defamation, sexual harassment, etc. And that's exactly what Andy Signor's messages with the defendant at Wayfair were. And when Andy was talking about this and showing the law in Florida in his video, it states it right in this. The privilege only applies to information or eyewitness observations obtained within the normal scope of employment. It doesn't apply to physical evidence, eyewitness observations, or visual or audio recordings of crimes, and any party, Blake Lively and her team, who want to overcome this privilege, this is what they have to meet. They have to show the information is relevant and material to unresolved issues that have been raised in the proceedings for which the information is sought. She's done that. She wants this for her court case with Justin Baldoni, Melissa Nathan, and everyone else. Number 2, the information cannot be obtained from alternate sources. They have now been shown to have deleted all of these text messages, so she can't get them from any other source. And number 3, A compelling interest exists for requiring disclosure of the information. She has that. She needs this for her court case. He doesn't want any of this public. He doesn't want any of us to see these messages. He's been denying any and all of this since day one, saying all of this is organic hate against Blake, that he hasn't been in contact with Wayfair. Now, what he was trying to say is that he's not paid by Wayfair or any party there. And I believe that. He makes enough money off of his content. He didn't need to be paid by them, but he was trying to convince you that him not being paid meant he was innocent and all of this was organic.
I offered them a certified third-party public accountant to give them a full forensic financial audit of my finances. Neither the judge nor Blake took me up on that, even though that would very much declare whether I was paid or part of a retaliatory campaign, which is really what the heart of this campaign is.
Of course they didn't accept that. They don't care about his bank statement. They don't care how much money he's been making off these videos. They cared about this smear campaign and the evidence that he had of that happening. He even goes as far in this video as trying to convince you that all of this was unimportant information. Blake doesn't need this.
Blake wants to just fish through non-important communication to muddy the waters, to let people online look at Andy's having source conversations with someone on Justin's team for all this time. That doesn't mean it's nefarious, illegal, not proper. I gave all good faith. I did everything I was supposed to on my dime.
Listen to how he twists the judge's words.
How dare she? When she even goes and later acknowledges here, clearly most of it's irrelevant and unresponsive and not privileged. And then she tries to claim that some of it is, but doesn't, is. It's so confusing.
He's trying to make it sound like the judge called these messages irrelevant and that they had nothing to do with Blake's case. That is not what she said at all. She said these go to the heart of Blake Lively's case, but that they are, as one would expect, irrelevant, unresponsive, and not privileged to him. That there's no reason he should have hid these from Blake Lively, and there is absolutely no reason that they would fall under privileged information.
This is absurd what she did. This is, I don't see how it's not defamatory. And that's what disturbs me so much. These laws should be protecting independent journalists like me.
Blake Lively is getting these text messages whether he likes it or not, and hopefully they're going to be public on the docket for all of us to see exactly what he was doing behind the scenes.